Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm welcoming all the AAUW branch members, and guests that are viewing this video. I am Barb Duran, one of the co-program VPs, excuse me, with AAUW of Michigan. And Linda Kevorkian from the Birmingham branch is my other co-VP, but she is not available today. So I'm going to be soloing it today, and we're going to be speaking about, we decided as a VP, program VPs, we talked about our goal. One of our goals was to do these short little 20 to 30 minute programs for branches to watch, whether you're virtual and you want to show them on Zoom, or you're in person and you have audio visual capabilities at your meeting place to show these. Just short little snippets about what the board does, who's on the board, and what the roles are, just so you understand what AAUW of Michigan has to offer you as a member and as a branch. And there are tons of resources and tools that these ladies are going to talk about. So today and I'm from Wyandotte Downriver, by the way, I forgot to mention that. So that's my branch. I'm currently the co-president, but I'm serving on the board, Michigan board. And so this is what we're going to do this year, is do lots of different programs that we can share with the branches. So today we have Calley-Martin and Janice Van Gasse. They are this year acting as your co-secretaries for the Michigan AAUW of Michigan organization. So I'm going to start with Kay. I'm going to have Kay introduce herself and just talk about how long she's been with AAUW, what branch she's with, and what position she holds. And Jan will do the same. And then we have a little PowerPoint slide that'll walk you through the secretary description and the duties, because you may have thoughts about down the road being a secretary. Maybe you are a secretary at your branch level and you want to move into leadership with the state of Michigan, and we would love to have you. And this will give you a little overview of what they do on a daily basis, monthly basis, etc., behind the scenes that you don't see, but it makes everything run seamless and smooth. And that's what we love. So, okay, Kay, go ahead. I'm going to let you speak now.
Well, good afternoon. I just like to preface I'm a teacher of 36 years in education, mainly elementary and a reading interventionist. And I don't know why I haven't retired, but I'm still teaching as a reading intervention. This year I'll be co-chairing the secretary position for 2022-24 with Jan Van Gasse, and she's also here with us today. Well, I have many aliases for my dear students, family, and friends, but prefer to be known just as plain old K, the 11th letter of the alphabet. I've been a member of AAUW of Michigan for about 8 years. I have a dual membership in Battle Creek and in Marshall branches. At the state level, this will be my third year working the duties of board secretary. And why did I choose AAUW of Michigan? I enjoy their mission, their teamwork as a member of the organization with such great leadership and friends. Keeps me on my game, really pushes my envelope as well. I have worked on a variety of committees, lobby corps, awards, resolutions, convention committee, nominating, and others. In the Marshall branch, I have the communications and newsletter chair. And in the Battle Creek branch, I do book sale, and also I was the Centennial Committee co-chair. Being that co-chair of that Centennial Committee and really honoring AAUW of Michigan was my most exciting position, as it is my legacy as well as the Battle Creek branch. The part that was exciting about it is that I worked for 4 years with two other friends who went against all odds, and I mean all odds, to commission a bronze statue, fondly known as Hope. What's next, world? We worked together. Who will make the statue? What's the budget? Oh my gosh, this is $25,000 to $30,000 we've got to fundraise. Learning about the bronze making process and realizing how difficult it is and time consuming. Finding the right artist who would convey the message of AAUW. I would just like to interject that she is now a member of AAUW as well now
Great.
because of it.
Good.
Many fundraisers, grant writing, collaborations with Kellogg Community College, as well as Battle Creek Foundation. This networking, I think, was really, really key, is that we get out there and people know what AAUW is all about. We marketed it to the community as well as many businesses through business letters, as well as knocking on doors. And of course, COVID hit and it also delayed our installation and shipping here from Texas. But finally, our work came to fruition. We did it. We
Mhm.
gifted the Battle Creek branch, gifted it to Kellogg Community College in honor of our centennial. So everybody, when they're sitting off the trail eating their lunch, is looking. And on her T-shirt kind of thing that she has says AAUW.
Wow.
And so people know of us. We're not a secret organization. We do exist and we do great things. So I just wanted to say that was probably one of my best legacies that I've ever done, and it was because of AAUW.
That is awesome, Kay. And you're like me, you probably sleep from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. because you're busy all the other 20, you're
Right.
busy all the other 23 hours of the day, right? And
Right.
Jan as well, I know, because we're busy people get things done, right? And we are all three
That's
busy
right.
women. And I appreciate that intro. I had heard about the Battle Creek statue and all that, but just what goes on behind it. You see it there, but what's all the things that went on behind to get it there, to pay for it, to get it installed and all that. Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jan, I'll let you go now and just let us know about Jan Van Gass.
Well, just like Kay, I was an educator. However, I'm retired at this point in my life. I was a teacher, school counselor, and then became a school administrator. I also taught at the community college in our area. And currently, in addition to AAUW of Michigan and my local branch, I'm really involved. I'm a school board member in my local community and have been elected to the board of directors for the Michigan Association of School Boards. And just recently was appointed as the government relations chair,
Mm,
committee chair, which I'm really looking forward to because public policy, whether it be AAUW Michigan or Michigan Association of School Boards, is truly a just love of mine. And I think it's really so relates to our mission and keeps us current and what we're going to support. And it's really important today.
mhm,
In addition, I love to play the piano and play and practice lots.
mhm.
Um, I accompany our community chorus, and it's a very incredible group, and but takes a lot of time, but I love it. So life's good. Um, I belong to the Iron Mountain Kingsford branch, which is in the UP, and Kay said good afternoon. However, I'm going to say good morning because we're on Central Time here.
Yes.
Um, I've served at the branch level as the program VP, the president for more years than I would like to say, and now I'm financial officer at the branch level. In terms of AAUW, I joined AAUW in 2002. It was rather interesting because we just moved to the UP, and AAUW was the organization that reached out to me. And so that was the organization that I belonged or that I joined, and the mission was just so important and still is. Um, I'm currently the co-secretary with Kay, and I'm also the bylaws director for AAUW Michigan. I've held positions on the AAUW Michigan board since 2016. I was the secretary from 2016 through 19 and loved it so much. I thought I would help Kay this year. I was the president-elect in 2019, and I just finished being the president from 2020 to 2022. I also serve on the AAUW governance committee at the national level. And I'm in my third year of doing that. And I really enjoy that also.
Thank you, Jan. Wow, that's a lot. And I know Jan, I've served kind of under Jan this last year, coming in kind of midterm as the program VP and bringing along Linda Kevorkian, who again is my partner in crime with the programs. And we're going to bring you some great programs this year. We're working on a few right now. So thank you, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and share the PowerPoint, and then you can either take turns or talk through it. Let me get my share button here. And we can go through the PowerPoint slides. All right. There we go. Can you ladies see it now?
Yes.
Let me do slideshow and we'll go. Okay.
Okay, I don't see it yet.
Oh, there we go. Can you see it, Kay? Jan, do you see it? You see the slides? Yes?
No, I do not see it.
Okay.
I see it. So I'm
Okay.
wondering, it's probably not as important that I see it.
Yeah.
You
might have to close your screen, make it smaller, your gallery that we're on. If you can minimize it, and then it might be behind that.
Okay. Nope. Well, if everybody else can see it, then I will go ahead and I have a copy in front of me so I can talk about it.
Okay, you can pull it up. Okay, I'm on slide 1 or slide 2 actually. Their position summary.
Okay. Secretary position is very, very important, and also it's because of those records and the action that the board takes. When you're taking the minutes, it may be a board meeting of the directors, and it may be an executive board. It might be a meeting that's in between where we need to vote. And so, as secretary, you have to keep the official records and keep them maintained, organized, so that if we need to look back on something, it's there. And we have I want to say kind of like a legal document that has a recording of our bylaws. It is a volunteer position, and so some of your expenses are reimbursed in accordance with the travel and meal policy. But I can't tell you enough how important the secretary's job is. If you go to the next slide. Your responsibility is to submit to the board and the executive committee for approval. So if I did minutes like Jan did the minutes at the retreat, those will be approved at the next at the next board meeting for approval. And then they are placed on file. Right now I'm placing them in a notebook so that we have a written copy, and then I'm also going to be doing digital copies this year. So a list of the motions that have happened during those minutes will be an ongoing list of each president's biennium, as well as a list of motions that we have from, I believe it's 2010. There are other ones, but they're in Wayne State. We keep our records there. Some other duties that a secretary might have might arrange for venues for annual conventions and board retreats, which kind of overlap right now, but that's what it says in the bylaws as responsibilities of the secretary. You assist on committees that are assigned by the president. You oversee the e-votes. So if there was something in between that was voted on, we had to have it because maybe it was a budget thing, then the executive board would get together and we would vote, or maybe not get on Zoom, but we would vote by email, which is now an acceptable practice. There is a calendar for the secretary, one for odd years, one for even years. And the one that has the state annual convention that we just had probably is the busiest one because you're doing a lot of convention work with registration, pages, tellers, etc. So, and registration. Next slide. Qualification might be, don't have to have all of them, but might be some previous experience on a nonprofit or a profit board. Knowledge and understanding of the statutes, the bylaws, the resolutions, things that we have in place that we need to follow. and just knowing, I think the first year I was just finding out how things are governed and, the special things being a nonprofit and how other things when we're making decisions we have to think about. Um, Strategic plan, that is so important. Every year we update the strategic plan and that we do that at retreat. Those are going to be our goals and focuses for the next year. And that's why it has to be updated because each year there's something that we need to do. And each of the categories is taken individually and made into a new strategic plan. So we have a new strategic plan for this next year. Okay, next one. Why are the minutes important? Well, you have the names of the members that are absent or present, and you need that to decide whether you can even vote, whether we have a quorum. It's also important to log in on your minutes to say where this was, what time it was, what was the date. When writing it's a summary. Your minutes are a summary of action taken. Names of the persons who are making those motions and seconding them. Make it very concise. And then you're keeping a summary of votes, unanimous, yays, nays, abstentions. And that's very important in our records. Next slide, please. So our summary of our documents are introduced. Usually we have agenda, handouts, budgets, etc. I keep copies of those in my notebook. You want to have your summary be an action of what's taken, not necessarily things that have no value. Names of persons making and seconding the motion. Concise summary and, next one. And the verbatim doc, we don't want anything like where he said, she said, and what was discussed. You don't need all that voluminous, superfluous information. Be brief, only the facts, ma'am, only the facts. Make sure that what you're doing is informative. You don't need to put all that chatter there, just the key points. And you'll see the last slide, which indicates Jan and my information for contacting. It's our cell numbers as well as our emails.
Great. Thank you, Kay. I think that's really important what you stated, and I'm going to go back to the slide here about only key points taken, because I've seen minutes with other organizations and groups I've been in where they write down every word, and it's just really a lot of unneeded, unnecessary work on their part, right? And it makes the job harder, and nobody wants to be a secretary because of that a lot of times. But if you
or somebody doesn't want to read,
right,
20 minutes of
correct.
Of minutes when really it can be done in 1 to 2 pages.
Right. Yeah. You need what the tasks that need to be completed, the motions that were made, the vote, what was approved, what was denied. And so, yes, and verbatim, you don't want to take word for word because it is easier to get the minutes approved and just have the facts, like you said, just the facts and have them condensed. And
yeah. And Jan taught me something is that I learned from Jan a template.
yes.
And that template is something that I use based off the agenda. And so everything that's talked about in that agenda, there will be some information. Some of it will be a motion.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it will be just we plan to support an organization. Or it might be something about there'll be a discussion about the strategic meeting, blah, 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 and
Right.
Maybe some dates to remember. Now, that's really key to me. I feel that our dates that we have and reminders of our dates are, I like to, the calendar at the end of the minutes, which tells the upcoming dates, tells me I put it on my calendar right away. I
Mhm.
tag it in my thing so I know it. And if I have a board report due, um, it's usually a week ahead of time, but I like to do it 2 weeks ahead of time in case I have something that's really pressing. So I
Right.
think date, saving the date is really, really important. And get those reminders to yourself of what
Mhm.
reports that need to be done. And that's all done a year in advance. So that's something, it's not
Right.
something that we decide next month or something. There may be a change in a date or something, but other than that, the year is already planned.
Right. And that's great. And they can know ahead of time, right? Get those on their calendar right away. And you didn't touch on it too much, but I know there's a future plan slide in here about
Oh, yes.
what you're
I'm
going to
sorry.
do. That's okay. What
I
you're,
knew I was missing something.
that's all right.
My future plan is to contact all the branch secretaries and kind of network them. I don't feel like I had touch with them during registration and other things, around convention, but I
Mhm.
really would like to reach out and be of assistance. Last year, I did newspaper, our newsletter articles and stuff like that on how to help them to be a better secretary. So I'd like to develop a rapport with them and give their concerns that you might have at a branch, and I can bring it as an individual to the board. And so I'd like to be that liaison. I also would like to streamline the job description for secretary. Some duties are duplicated by
Mhm.
other board members, and so I would really like to update that secretary responsibilities so that there's not a conflict and somebody else is doing it and you're doing it. And I just think I think Jan updated it and maybe, I don't know, when you were secretary, but it needs to be updated
Right,
again. It's been about 4 years. So,
Yeah.
it
um,
has.
and then just putting things in notebooks. I really want to do more things digitally,
Mhm.
and so that we can come of age on things. So we're
Yes,
saving trees.
We
exactly.
also do put our stuff on our Google Drive,
Yes,
Yes,
which
yes,
goes back in years, so we can look at it that way too.
right. And it
Um,
makes the transition of jobs from person to person easier. So you're not having to hand
right,
off a binder. It's all on Google Drive. And we
right,
try to keep it organized by folders and dates and years and things like that. So people coming in, women coming in to take the job that your guys are doing that you've set up ahead of time, they can just kind of step in, and it makes transition a lot easier and the job becomes more streamlined. So
definitely.
yes,
And I think Kay alluded to this, but I think minutes are so important because they really are the main archives
mhm,
of whether it be a branch or a state. Um, and I know even at my branch level, sometimes if we just have a speaker and we don't have a business meeting, the secretary doesn't take minutes. And it's
mhm,
like, no, 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 that's important. Just put that who the speaker was,
right,
what they spoke about,
yeah,
etc. Because we really need that historical perspective also.
right. And
yeah,
hit the high points of anything that might be discussed, because if it comes up later on, you'll say, oh yeah, we discussed that at a branch meeting, but I know how our brains work. We don't remember the time, the date, when it was.
Right, right,
Things just start to meld into each other. So it's good to keep everything delineated, and so we can look back and say, here, here's what we said when we said it. Yeah, good for the,
right.
okay, I'm going to show again your guys' contact information. So there's Jan's cell and email, Kay's cell and email. Please reach out. This way, you can also go to AAUWMI.org and hit contact us, and that'll get to either one of these ladies as well. All right, we have a couple minutes if you want to wrap up your statements, and we can get this all wrapped up and sent out to the branches.
Well, I guess, and Kay alluded to it, that the branches really are so very important. And it's why we have a state organization. So I really would like to reiterate what she said about, us contacting you once we actually get the officer list. There's some issues with the collaborative or community
Community
hub at
hub.
this
Mhm.
point in getting that information. But that we really would like to support you as you're doing your jobs. That's really important to us. So
Thank you. Kay, anything, last words of encouragement or support?
No, I welcome all emails and phone calls and stuff, and I usually work till 12, so if I'm going to respond, it'll be in the afternoon. And I do intend on hoping to make those inroads, so I hope they will also make the step forward to introduce themselves to me in an email as well.
Great. Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, and the branch members that are watching. I hope you find value in these videos. We're going to be doing many more of the different positions. And if you have any speakers or anyone in your branch of interest who wants to maybe do a short video, we're welcome you to reach out to us and let us know that. So thank you, Kay and Janice, for sharing with us the wonderful behind the scenes look at the secretary job at the state level. And we're always looking for people who want to step up into leadership. So please step up and let Kay and Jan know if you're willing to step in and help in the coming years or sooner. We can get you transitioned and trained, as soon as you want to be.
right,
Sooner
the
than
secretary
later.
position will come up for election, not this year, but next year.
Okay,
And
great.
Kay is term limited.
Yes.
And
So
I'm
yes.
hoping I am too at that point.
Well, you ladies are doing a great job. Thank you again for sharing what you do. And I hope the branches find value in these, and we will be back with you at another time. So thank you very much.